Humour is an essential part of our life. Humour is our stress reliever, is our attention grabber, and it is our teacher. And then comes to no surprise then that humour will be part of warming up your audience as part of Toastmasters. A humorous story at the beginning of a speech will attract the audience attention and will relax them. That story also should be relevant, it should be simple, and it should also be readily identifiable as humour. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to introduce Dave Rohan, whose assignment tonight is warm up your audience speech for the Advanced Humorously Speaking Manual. His purpose today is to bring a 5 to 7 minute speech that brings with a humorous story. That story must be related to the speech topic and appropriate for the audience. The story may be personal or can be from another source, but should be personalised. And thus the 3 manual objectives today for Dave to complete are: first, to prepare a speech that opens with a humorous story; second, to personalise the story; third, to deliver the story smoothly and effectively. Dave's personal objectives is to stick to time, and therefore, for that reason, Mr. Timekeeper, please have the lights on at 5, 6 and 7 for his 5 to 7 minute speech. Dave has a Distinguished Toastmaster Award, which is the highest communication award that can be achieved. He is now working towards his Advanced Communicator Gold Award for the 3rd time. The title of his speech is It is an R, not a C. Dave Rohan. It is an R, not a C. Please welcome Dave.
Toastmaster John, fellow Toastmasters and guests Mac and Kirk. I said to my wife this afternoon, I'm presenting a speech at Toastmasters tonight, and she said, don't be too witty or intelligent or smart or perspicacious, just be yourself. And if I'm honest, that's what I need to be, and if I'm even more honest, that's what we all need to be, honest and being ourselves when we are an evaluator. Toastmasters has a defined process when we're a speech evaluator. It is CRC. We make a commendation, we make a recommendation, and then we make a commendation. And the process is developed in that way so that people initially feel good when you give them a commendation. The recommendation then gives them a couple of specific objectives to work on, and the recommendation at the end leaves them feeling good about their speech and about themselves. The commendations and the recommendations have to be honest, and they have to be sincere and from the heart, and they have to be from you yourself. They are your opinions, not someone else's, because the process doesn't dictate what you should say. It simply gives you the process to follow. It is wrong for you to say, for example, Jane, that was a fabulous speech. Although you were naughty to hide behind the lectern in all your speech, but it was just fabulous. That is not honest. It's not sincere, and Jane will not take much notice of it. Every commendation that you make and every recommendation that you make should be based either on the objectives of the speech manual that the speaker is undertaking, or alternatively on generic factors such as preparation, structure, body language, verbal skills, grammar, pace and pause, all of those sorts of factors, several other factors. That is not an exclusive list. So it needs to be honest and it needs to be specific. Let me give you an example from the world of sport. Suppose you are the coach of a primary school rugby team. So you're coaching boys of 11 or 12. And little Johnny is the first 5, and every time he passes the ball, it goes about 3 metres and it never finds a teammate. So that's a serious problem for a first 5 to have. How do you deal with it? You're the coach. Do you say to Johnny, Johnny, you're a useless passer, back up your ideas or you're out of here? No, of course you don't. Because that's not going to help Johnny at all. That's simply going to scare him away. We need to be specific. We need to show him how to improve. And if you're an effective coach, you do something like this. Johnny, we need to get you to pass the ball accurately to your teammate so that we retain the ball and score more tries. That's the benefit. That's what Johnny needs to know in order for him to be motivated towards upgrading his skills. And then we need to show him how to do it. And we need to start with a simple example. And one example. So Johnny, when you're going to pass to your left, you hold the ball in both hands, you put your left leg out like that, you bring your arms back, so you're going to create more speed and power in your pass. You have your right hand on this side of the ball, you have your left hand on this side of the ball. As you bring your body and your arms forward, you spin the ball so it's a nice spiral and it's more accurate and it's going to carry further like this. And Johnny says, that's really good, coach, thank you. And we then supervise Johnny in trying out his new skills, and we ask him to keep practicing for 5 or 10 minutes a day, and within 2 or 3 weeks Johnny will have mastered the left-hand pass. He can then move on to the right-hand pass, the back flip over the head. He can do anything he likes, but he can then, once he's mastered that skill, he can then move on to other skills. It's exactly the same at Toastmasters. The whole process is the same. So suppose that you decide that, in your opinion, Jane has relied too much on notes in her speech, given her level of experience. Do you say to Jane, Jane, that was absolutely hopeless. Someone your experience should not be using notes. You might as well just go and down to Wokta Place and you're no good here. No, of course you don't say that, because that's going to be really demotivating for Jane and we're going to lose her. We need to help her. So firstly, the benefit. Jane, if you prepare more for your speech, you will have more eye contact, you will have more gestures, you won't be stuck behind the lectern, you will appear more confident, and you will actually become more confident. So there goes the benefit. And now how do you do that? Jane, I recommend that you start preparing your next speech a month before it is scheduled, so that by the time you come to present your speech, you know it well and you either don't need to use notes, or alternatively, you just have a few notes written down on a card. So we present to Jane the benefit and how to do it, because Jane may not know how to prepare a speech effectively. Now, there is also a benefit to the whole club if we present an evaluation effectively, because it's going to help other people to become better evaluators, and it's also going to help other members of the club who may have that same problem. There might be people in the club who are listening who don't know how to prepare a speech, so we're helping them as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, the whole process is about CRC. That is the acronym that we use: Command, Recommend, Commend. It is not CCC. It is not Commend, Criticise, Commend. We do not criticise, we make recommendations, and recommendations are our honest opinions on how the speaker can improve their speech. So we need to work on that, we need to be honest, and we need to be ourselves. And then someone can say to you, you don't have to be witty or smart or intelligent or perspicacious. You just need to be yourself. John.
Toastmaster John, fellow Toastmasters and our guests. Congratulations, Dave, on another astute delivery for your speech. Dave immediately showed his wit in the beginning by using the word of the day, and with it I was impressed of his ad-lib to be flexible. Dave also had a good start that related to his wife, something which we can all relate to, except if you're single, of course, but more or less we have had other interactions similar to that. Now, coming on to the opening, though, I felt that the humour involved in the introduction was slightly weak. The punchline, I felt, wasn't strong to evoke a humorous response in me, and I have had many marvellous opportunities with Dave in his speech, and I've shared one of the most humorous moments in one of his humorous speech, and I feel that this today, on Dave's speech, preparation was perhaps more preparation could have been put in forward to have the quality of the humour in it. That was one of my recommendations that I want to bring in. The other recommendation is sticking to time, and that relates to his personal objectives. As a distinct Toastmaster, Dave, I'm sure, aware of the system, and it is. However, it is something that we all have to keep in mind, that when the blue light goes, it's time to start cutting down, and when the red light goes, it's already over. So, start finishing on the blue light is something that I think we can all aspire and improve upon. Finally, well, speaking about the audience attention and keeping that audience attention, I was particularly impressed with the vocal variety and the acting that was involved. Dave made characters out of his speech, and they went through so lively. And with the prop usage that he was using, you throwing the rugby ball, it just grabbed the audience attention. I was particularly impressed with that. Now, on to his objectives, personal objectives. I feel, well, objectively, I can say that it was unfortunately not fulfilled, but however, I feel that Dave can improve on this by starting to stop at the blue light, which I should be starting closer anyhow. Moving on, objectives of the manual. Prepare a speech that opens with humour. I felt that Dave could perhaps improve upon that by having a slightly longer preparation phase in delivering that punchline with that introduction. Personalise the story. That was well personalised, and I felt the entire flow of the speech was set correctly. And to deliver a story smoothly and effectively. Absolutely. Yet another astute delivery by Dave.